Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Wednesday Waffle here on Claret and Booze. So, me and Micky tonight. How you doing, Micky?
Yeah, I'm lovely. And it is a dressing gown I've got on tonight because I've just got out of the bath and I'm a bit chilly. So
he might strip down a bit further later. It depends.
I might do because it is getting a little bit hot now, to be fair.
Yeah. So, look, there's one main topic on the agenda, and that's to talk about Spurs tomorrow, which will be quite well. I must admit, I don't know how you're feeling at the moment, but I'm in an extreme state of trepidation, worried about that game tomorrow. You know, really am.
Why? Why? What are your reasons?
Well, because the more content I absorb, the more channels I listen to, and this morning I watched Nicky Hawkins on West Ham Fan TV with those two blokes who run the Spurs channel, right? Who I don't usually like that much, but they actually spoke a lot of sense. It was quite enlightening, actually, to find out how much they knew about West Ham, because they knew quite a lot about West Ham, and their opinions were kind of similar to mine and yours, right? That with all those players, God, you've got to be doing something a little bit more creative than you're doing. Yeah, so one of their uncles is a season ticket holder, apparently. So yeah, that was enlightening, because I usually just, when they come on my screen, I just think, oh, fucking hell, and turn them off. You know, I still turn them off because they're a Spurs channel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch them for their Spurs talk, but as you said, because it was on West Ham Fan TV, it was you watch it, and I was surprised how knowledgeable they was of West Ham. They knew, their stuff for West Ham. I was surprised.
Yeah, I know. It's very odd. They named all the right players. They knew about the formation. One of them watched our last two games against Burnley and the one at the weekend. That must have been a cool. You know, that was the live match on Sky.
What?
The Palace versus West Ham Palace at the weekend.
Yeah, of course. All the
other ones that you had to choose from, and they chose that.
Yeah, but on paper, it's a London derby. They usually are quite high-scoring games, so you'd expect a bit of passion. People, like, both teams going for it. Rather, it was both teams not wanting to lose, and that was it. That was the game.
Yeah, no, true. Magic Micky. Here we go. Greetings from the Gambia. Evening, Ensa. Hello to everyone else as well, because look, I'm doing the comments and Micky can't access the comments because Nick's got to sort his StreamYard account out. And you know how long it takes Nick to sort stuff out?
I'll have to get on his case, won't I? I'll get on his case. After Christmas, I'll be straight on it.
Bombard him with texts, fucking drive him mad, do his head in, and then he'll just want to get rid of you in the end and just do it, right? Takes a while. I'm actually Liga. I'm Amanda from yeah, right. So
I love me, Mike. Don't deny it. You love this, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, I love it.
Looks like a heater, doesn't it? It does look like a heater.
Yeah, I don't know. The colour seems to have been gone like different. I don't know if it's got different settings, but let me just clarify something. Yeah, when I got this mic, I did not know it lights up like this. I did not know.
I don't believe you. I didn't
know. I've had it like 3 years, never plugged it in, and I plugged it in like that. I tried to get rid of it. I was trying to see if I can turn the light off, but apparently you can't.
Yeah, spare plutonium tube for the DeLorean. Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah, you're right, Ryan. Hello, Ryan, by the way. Yeah, it was a really good watch. I was really surprised. I expect to listen to a couple of sentences and just slam them off like I usually do. The only Spurs channel that I occasionally dip into, because he does genuinely make me laugh, is that Expressions bloke, right? Have you seen him?
Yes.
Yeah, he's comical, some of the stuff he comes out with, but it's like Arsenal Fan TV, only better. But you can when they lose, it's a great watch.
See, I'm a bit different. I'll only watch West Ham channels. That's literally all I watch. I don't watch the Arsenal Fan TV. I don't watch anything like that.
No,
I'm just pure like West Ham thing. So yeah, I don't know. So you saying about you worried about tomorrow's game because of when you see that?
Yes, yeah. So what they said, I mean, if you recall, and they ain't the first ones to say it as well, right? And that is, in their opinion, sitting back is playing right into their hands, because the only way you can stop them, the only way successful teams have managed to stop them successfully has been to play a high line and press them back into their own half, because they literally occupy the last 3/4 of the pitch at all times if you let them,
Yeah.
right? And that to me just sounds terrifying. They break in numbers. Fucking hell, every other team we play against, they're either coming down the left, coming down the right, or coming through the middle, right? So you've got one threat to try and stop. When you watch them, you've got 5 blokes, 6 blokes running at you all across the pitch. I don't know how you're supposed to defend against that if you're just sitting there, right? It's not like going to be a zonal marking thing, is it? I just don't know how it's going to work, Mickey. I hope to God it does work, whatever he does, because everyone likes to beat Spurs, don't they?
Well, that's the game I always look forward to, right? The Spurs game, always do, always have.
Yeah.
I love it, and this is the horrible thing, yeah. Like this is the game that you should be right up for, but this is the first time I don't feel as passionate about it, and that's horrible. That's really horrible. I think it's just because I know what I feel like I know what I'm expecting from West Ham, and I don't expect much, and that's horrible to admit that as a West Ham fan, but that's just my honest opinion. I don't expect much. In fact, I expect a little bit of a massacre tomorrow.
Well, I'm hoping. I mean, I've sort of set my sights because I like to get my disappointment in early, right? So inside my head, I say it out loud, but I suppose I will on the channel, right? I think I'd be happy with damage limitation, 2-0 defeat or something like that, right? But what really worries me with this team is when they smell blood. It ain't like Man City and Liverpool who just take their foot off the gas and roll over typically, right? When they're 2 or 3-0 up. This team just carry on going for 97, 98 minutes. They don't stop. They want to murder you, right? Was that a shed that they were in, Ryan? Was that an actual shed? In which case, I'm going to have to fucking up my game. I'm going to have to, because it looks like a sort of studio of some kind. Mind you, it's easy to do that on a camera, I suppose. I'll see what I can do, Ryan. I might knock out into the other bit of garden here. I'll put an extension on.
Yeah, they're outdoing you with a shed there, Gal.
Yeah, is it a shed, though? Is it a shed?
I don't know, because it was all very...
I've got tellies and everything, and they very.
Do you know when it's all like green screen? I don't know if it was or not. I don't know. They probably have got a proper studio thing.
Yeah, might have. Who knows? Very rich, more income. I think they've got quite a lot of views and stuff, and subscribers and whatever else. And talking of subscribers, we're on a push. We're on a push for 10,000, and we've only been going. What is it? Just over 2 years now. 2 and a bit years, and we've done pretty well. But 10,000 just feels like one of those milestones. It's just like you're always reaching for it. And the last couple of thousand, even though they've actually gone quite quickly, in reality, it's felt like ages. So be nice to have five figures. Be nice to have 5 figures. So help us get there. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you a penny. And Mickey, do you want to talk about Oscar?
Yes, I can do. Yeah. So that I mentioned Oscar Fairs last week, everything that he's gone through and how good it was. Well, next weekend they're doing a charity match for him. I did give a poster to.
I'll find it.
Yeah, and he'll put it up for details and that. If you're not doing nothing, go over there. It'll be a great day, and it's for a good cause and one of our own. Also, there'll be hopefully a link in the description for a GoFundMe for him. Obviously, you're under no pressure for it, but every little helps for him. He's going through it. Do you know what I mean? And if you can, if you want to, please give. If not, then just
Yeah, your heart goes out, doesn't it? Your heart goes out to that family because they've been through the mill, haven't they? And they're still effectively going through the mill. And that's
it's not finished. Like it's not finished by a long shot. And like I said, he's a young kid, really, really young kid, and no one should be going through it anyway. But especially at that age, it's sickening. It's absolutely heartbreaking, to be fair to you, especially from anyone. But they're a lovely family. They genuinely are. He's a good kid. He's a really good kid.
Yeah, well, it takes dedication to do what he's done. He's like a 13-year-old, goalkeeper for West Ham, right?
Yeah.
How long's he been playing? Probably since he was about 5, I reckon.
Yeah, and I've never seen him play personally. I've got to admit that. But by all accounts, he was brilliant. I know that he played against John's boy.
Yeah.
One game, and so I know he played there, but he was up and coming. Do you know what I mean? He's a good goalkeeper. So fingers crossed and everything for the lad. Getting the heart goes out.
So while you're doing that, right? I've been trying to upload this this thing. There you go. Football match. So this is on the 17th of December. It's an old day out. There's a charity football match, tenner on the door, and a DJ from 7 p.m. until late. So sort of early Christmas thing. If you're sort of around that area, worth going to. The GoFundMe link. It will be in the description by the time I put it in there later. I don't know if Nick's done it already. All right, but a lot of people supported. I put it out on Twitter earlier as well, but a lot of people have been doing the same thing. And he's one of our own, isn't he? So
he's one of our own.
Help the young lad out if you can. Yeah. So let's have a look. So what else we got here? There was looking through the comments. I don't know if you heard earlier, but Moyes was doing his like pre-match interview, talking about the Spurs game and everything else, and they got on to talking about who's going to AFCON. And he kind of diverted off and started talking about African players. And he said he had, Yakubu and Yobo at Everton. Here he's got Aguerd, he's got Ben Rama, he's got Kudus. And it never occurred to him to say Cornet. Now, I know Cornet is not going to the African nations, probably, right? And I think that was the context. But he was really reaching, trying to you know what I mean? It just feeds into that sort of thing where he doesn't come into his mind. Doesn't come into his mind at all. After coming on and setting up a winner for Souček and getting Moyes out of jail,
yep,
he's been flying Cornet, right? He must think, right, I've got my chance. I've had my chance, and then he's just not used, unused sub, right? Mabama, he gets 60 minutes. He gets taken off for Ings. Didn't really do anything wrong. He was just given a thankless task, right? Got taken, and this is the measure of Mabama. I'm telling you now, right? As an attitude, as a player's attitude, it don't get better or more professional than Divine Mabama, because not many players could do this. What happened was he's had little bites of the first team, right? Little bites of the first team pre-season where he's done really well. Funny enough, playing in the front two with Danny Ings, I think against Spurs, did really well. Probably would have expected some game time. I think he was even promised some game time, right? Anyway, he eventually gets some game time and he gets the first half hour for the first team in Europe, away in Serbia, gets dragged off, gets dropped completely from the squad for the following game. Now, that on its own would demoralise some players. But then he's put back in the under-21s team to play against Colchester last night. But such is his brilliant attitude, head up, gets on there, scores a goal, right?
Yeah.
And that to me is a sign of a fucking, first of all, a kid that's been well brought up, got his feet on the ground, but he's a very, very professional player. And I hope that lasts. And I hope we bloody sign him up soon, right?
Yeah, you're right. Like he's not thrown his toys out the pram, thinking, "Oh, look, listen, I should be in the first team now and everything."
Yeah.
They put him in the under-21s again, and he's just cracked on with it and gone, "All right, I'll show you I can do it." Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah, fair play to him. Fair play to him.
Yeah. We got a super chat here. Thank you, Steve Bell.
Steve, come on, mate.
Worried out tomorrow, lads. If they score early, it's going to be like the Alabama. That's the worst thing, Steve. That's the worst thing I can imagine is them scoring early. Two worst things I can imagine. First of all, the same formation pretty much as what we played the other day, apart from Zuma would be back in. And to me, when he puts Zuma in, it gives him even more faith that he can defend it out, right? That he can keep him out.
Well, Steve's fear there about them scoring an early goal.
Yeah.
When you going back to the two Spurs boys, they said as well, and we know, but they are Spurs fans, so they know a lot more. But they start off fast, like it's non-stop from the traps. So it's a good possibility that they could get an early goal, and then it could be floodgates open. I don't like to be a doom and gloom about it. I really don't. It's just.
I think you're covering yourself by doing that, Mickey, aren't you? By predicting the worst, you're hoping for the best, right? You know what I mean? So you're just like, oh, if this happens, it's going to be terrible. We're going to get slaughtered. But secretly, you're thinking, what if? What if?
I think under Moyes, you've got to be secretly like hoping for the best. That's all you can do. There's no sort of
Yeah.
There's no like thing to say. All right, then we had a good game last week. Let's take that on to the next week's game. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Because if we took last week's game onto Spurs, we're in trouble.
I think there's a bit of truth in this. Moyes' management is about the same level as Lou Macari's, because he was pretty awful with the players, right? Pretty awful with them. Not many of them reckon Lou Macari. Having said that, I didn't mind Lou Macari, and he brought in a lot of good players. A lot of good players.
I can't really comment on him because it was before my time.
Yeah.
So I can't really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think my first manager might have been Billy Bonds. I mean, he was definitely the first manager when I started really taking notice of football in West Ham.
Yeah.
So,
Was that
Lou Macari, I can't say. Go on.
Was that the great season under Billy Bonds when we got promoted?
Yes. It was really when I sort of got, like my dad sort of said, right, this is the team you're supporting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And did ever since, and obviously have done.
Yeah.
So I can't really say about the old school managers. You know, when people say about him and John Lyle and all that stuff, I can't really comment. It won't be fair to me.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I wish others would take the same attitude, to be honest. But I thought the shed comment set you off. It ain't a shed. No, I didn't think so. It's probably some fucking purpose-built complex down the end of the garden, isn't it? It's probably they probably drove huge steel piles 40 foot or 200 feet into the ground to build this huge, great big smoke glass studio in the garden of their wealthy parents, semi-detached. Right. So not another fucking shed, no. What we got here? So this is Postecoglou. Let's mention him. So we got 17 minutes 25 seconds was the first mention of Postecoglou on tonight's show. Imagine what he could do with our players. What do you reckon he'd do with our players, Micky?
Make them fucking brilliant. It's just, I think you can see. Look, I'll right now. This might be a stretch in that year, but I genuinely believe we've got better attacking players. Than Spurs. I do. I genuinely do. Son aside, I think that man to man, I genuinely do believe that, and I think that he could have done amazing with the players that we've got. And I think that that's what frustrates. I mean, it definitely frustrates me when it comes to Moyes. It's more because that I know we're so capable of good stuff, like good football, and it doesn't happen. So, yeah, for me, Postecoglou would have done Paquetá for us.
I gushed over him enough the other day. Almost made myself vomit. So I'm not going to do it anymore. But, my thoughts on that. But we have been linked with someone that Nick actually likes tonight, from a very serious reporter as well. Been linked with Paquetá, who was was at Wolves last season, did actually pretty well, kept them up after taking over in the relegation zone, and left this season before the season started because there was no funds available. You know what trouble? I think it was him originally that tried to buy Dawson and didn't have the 3 million to buy him with.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So and this is the thing, what Matt said here. Let's hope we can fill up some park. I think this current period, unless it stops, unless Moyes just goes off on a different direction or something like that, this is going to drive people away from that ground. And I think we saw that sort of starts of it the other night. There are certain people who go and watch anything, right? I'm personally not one of them. I thought I was, but I'm not. I can't. I do need a bit of entertainment. I really do. Andy's got a feeling we might win at Lanzini Lane. Well, that was one of the best nights of lockdown, wasn't it? That night. Was you were watching that night, when you, Micky?
Do you know what, right? So I'll tell you now, me brother-in-law, he's a Spurs fan. And so's me little nephew, like his son. And I was round now watching it. So you can imagine when we got that equaliser from Lanzini, I was absolutely so much so, I was giving it so much so, my little nephew, I made him cry, which I am proud about. I don't care what anyone says. I'm very proud of that moment. he started crying. Me brother-in-law went upstairs in half. I had to give it. And I stayed quiet. Even when we went 3-2, I stayed quiet, didn't say nothing. But that goal, it was scenes. It was absolute scenes. I loved that moment.
It was like it was written in a script, wasn't it? It was so perfect. And this is, for example, when I would go and have a look at the likes of Expressions and the other channels, right? Because Someone put a compilation together of all the Spurs channels, the way they were absolutely coating us off when they were 3-0 up on it. They went 3-0 up. They were coating us off as if it was going to be 6-7. They were battering us. We were just insignificant. And then one went in. They don't really take much notice. 2 goes in, you can really see the nerves start to fucking come, right? And then we literally just run it. They're literally just running down the clock. There's like seconds to go. And fucking Lanzini pops it in from outside the box into the top corner. Unstoppable shot. I was in there. I was in my shed. I was watching it with a group of other people. We had like a Zoom call going. It was just a different class. That, for me, that is excitement. And David Moyes did that, right?
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah, well, Lanzini done it. I can't. I sound horrible.
Yeah, but you remember back to that season when we had Lingard and everything else. We were free scoring, free flowing, attacking, and everything else. He can do it, but it ain't his preference, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the annoying thing is. It can be done, but it just don't happen. And that was the first time because I got sent a clip of them 2 Spurs lads channel, and that was them because their faces dropped and they were sick, and it was fantastic. There's 2 super chats been put up, Gal. Sorry, I think one of them was from Amos Micky.
Hold on, I'll find it. I've done Steve WHU Bell. The other one must be down the bottom. See, I'm the only one that can drive the comments tonight because of Nick, right? I just talk about this. I'll get to you in a minute, Amos Micky. Spurs fans say they don't care. Oh, they care. They care. Let them say what they want, right? I once went to that. You remember that one we beat them 2-1 in the League Cup midweek? I was in corporate box. You know the old corporate boxes at White Hart Lane, right? It was like a glass front and it was sealed, so there was no crowd noise. They had to pipe the crowd noise in through a speaker. It's really shit, right? But at the front, they had glass at either side, and you can see all the way down either end of the stadium, glass, right? When they went 1-0 up, I'm telling you, these fuckers were climbing the glass. They were so happy. You should have seen it. And in our box, there was 5 of each. There was 5 Spurs and 5 West Ham. And honestly, Gloat, you never see anything like it, right?
Well, we know that. It's not one of them things. When they say we don't really care, it's that sort of to cover your bets, if you like. If they lose, they say they don't care. If they win, then it's our cup final. Do you know what I mean? And they beat us with it. They care. They care, mate. Don't worry about that.
I'll tell you what, it ain't our cup final, is it? End of last season was our cup final.
Yeah, we've had a cup final, mate, and we won. Move on.
So Spurs, I think I read somewhere that Fulham's 5-0 up now, right?
Yeah, I think Nick put up it was 5-0 to Fulham.
It's fine.
I've got them in my last man standing bet, so I'm through the next round.
Ooh. Sorry for my terrible performance in the comments, but I'm really trying to keep up here. Right. Thank you, Micky. To drown your sorrows tomorrow night, some cheap cider when Spurs rip us a new one. Buy Virgil a whole nut bar because it's full of nuts. I
thought that tenner was for me, Micky, because you told me I've been deep throating this mic. What's up with you? It's an half a thick mic. I won't get that there.
I think you can't be sorry for the negativity because honestly, how else are you supposed to feel at the moment? I'd love to think we can go there and win. And look, anything's possible at Spurs because we are kind of their bogey side, aren't we? Right? On any given day, we could turn up and win at Spurs. It takes the right performance, the right attitude, a little bit of luck, the right selection, some of their players being off the boil, taking it for granted a little bit, but I don't see it. And they've only...
We're not being negative for negative's sake. Like, it's not to be like, oh, I'm a downer. It's not that. I just think that we're giving our honest opinion and view on it. So I'm still upbeat. I'm still like chirpy. I've got no faith.
Truth be told, right? We're trying to protect ourselves, right? We're trying to protect ourselves by saying we're expecting to get fucking stuffed. If that happens, we've already said it and started accepting it between now and tomorrow. You know what I mean? Even though you're never going to accept it. Did I butcher his name? What is it? Lopetegui. I said Lopetegui because that's how Nick used to say it. And I think people used to take the piss out of him when he said it as well. So can you do a phonetic spelling for me, please? Ultra 505, and I'll do it properly.
Well, you would have said it better than me. I wouldn't even know how to say that. Do you know what I mean? Lopetegui. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to Son's goal celebration. There's going to be a few of those, I reckon.
Yeah, what goal celebration? Because he's going to have a couple. So what one?
It is the greatest place to be, White Hart Lane, if you're winning, right? That day when Antonio scored. I was there as well, and it was just it was such a piss take. It's the biggest piss take you've ever seen. They were around each side. They were above us. They were behind us. They were everywhere, right? And it was just so funny. And it was so good. We went down to where is it, Euston, and got smashed in there until for about 3 or 4 hours afterwards, which was it was just days like that. They're just perfect, aren't they? You don't expect much out of them. And those people that are traveling to Spurs tomorrow, they're probably expecting nothing, but it could happen. You might get a miracle, right? Same with the guys that are going up to Liverpool. If he plays that game against Liverpool, even though Liverpool are very good, if he goes after them the way he went after Arsenal, there's a chance, right? There's a chance because we do have some class players.
Look, I will give this to Moyes, yeah, because like we all say about Moyes, but I will give this. He's produced some great moments. That's what I'd say. Moments like the moments that we'll take away from it. You know, so and that again, that Spurs, even that draw. Do you know what I mean? I know that I mean, you probably did as well. We got slaughtered for celebrating a draw, but it wasn't because it was a draw. It was how it was done with that goal. Do you know what I mean? That's what we were celebrating. Being 3-0 down. Come on now. Anyone would be celebrating a draw from that.
Oh yeah, but just against Spurs, everything was perfect because if that were, I know we would have been happy if it was against anyone else, but it was Spurs.
It was Spurs 3-0 down, 3-0 down, mate.
Yeah. Oh, it was only 3 years ago. I'll tell you what, that lockdown, that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
But Gary, in all honesty, yes, they're still the same manager. But if we went 3-0 down, against Spurs tomorrow, would you feel confident about coming back from that?
No, not a chance. No, but I didn't feel confident last time. To be fair, either. I thought we were out of it. I thought we were dead and buried. These things just sometimes take a bit of a miracle, don't they? And that was a miracle that night. We'll beat Spurs tomorrow. It's the West Ham way, says Keith Knight. I don't know, Keith. I don't know. I hope you're right, Keith.
They're a different animal. And I think they're an animal that we don't like playing against. But we'll see. Look what we've seen. As Gary said, it's against Spurs. We do turn up against Spurs usually. So let's see. Let's see what happens.
Again, though, that's where another one of my doubts comes from, right, Mickey? Because that Antonio game, I said the other night, that was all about Mark Noble in the dressing room. And Declan Rice as well, right? But was Declan Rice? Yeah, well, I think he was, yeah. But Mark Noble that day was a man possessed. He came out in it was a different Mark Noble to one we'd seen before that game or after that game. He was so up for that game. He was buzzing, right? And Ryan Fredericks, pretty much everyone on the team had a brilliant game. Arnautovic as well, right? But I'm telling you, he was different class, man in the match by a country mile, a proper leader on the pitch.
Well, that leads me. Like, I'll ask a question. I didn't ask it last week, and it was discussed, but I didn't ask it. I think we had discussed it before. But let's talk about lack of leadership on the pitch.
Yeah.
Right. Who would you? Because Zuma was out, sorry, and then the captaincy went to Souček, right?
Yeah.
Right. Just say we had all fit players there. That is there. Who would be your captain?
One sec.
Yeah, go on.
Ryan, thank you very much, mate.
Lovely, Ryan. Thanks, mate.
It's a game we all look forward to. See at the beginning of the season, near or far, we all love it. And I can't wait to see us win there tomorrow. Our lads are going to get the job done. Special moment incoming. If only.
You're right, mate. I'd love that.
The show tomorrow night, if that happens, will be buzzing because we got no shame. We have a go at Moyes because he bores the fucking tits off us. If he suddenly didn't, we'd embrace it, right? Maybe not Nick, but we would. I just don't think he's got in him. I think this is the way he wants to play, right? This is what he's been aiming for his whole time here to arrive here at this place, you know.
Who's
Moyes. I think this is Moyes. This has been Moyes' master plan to kind of end up here, playing the game that he's comfortable playing. This is what he did at Everton. This is Everton. You know, watch the masterclass video. This is Everton. What he's got going on here.
Yeah, watch the masterclass video. The other thing, there's a bit of contradiction with the Moyes stuff. After the Palace game, he said that he wants us to be more
attacking.
What was the word he used? Yeah, attacking. But like he said it in a different word. So he said that. But then in his press conference today,
what did he say? Defending.
Well, he did. It's not so much defending. He said we need to be harder to beat. So then I just automatically assumed.
That's a bad sign, isn't it?
Well, I automatically assume that he means defending because that's what it usually means about less being hard to beat, like hard to break down and everything. So I don't know what he's trying to say here. Do we want be more attacking or more defensive? I'm lost.
Whenever he says something, I listen to what he says, and sometimes he's right, and I'll say he's right, but very often he'll say something and he'll give a positive, and you think that's a good thing to say, and the next sentence he'll say something to kind of contradict it, and it sounds like that's what he did there, right? Because hard to beat. Yeah, of course we want to be hard to beat. That is a default position, a default setting for any team, right? Hard to beat. It doesn't mean it's your only game plan.
No, but that's what we all know, that there's not like a plan B or something. He's just got a plan A. And that's all it is. And even if it ain't working, it sort of stays that way. It's sort of more like his way of keep the faith, lads, keep the faith. It doesn't work like that.
Fucking hell, look, Mandy said all West Ham games up to the end of December are shown live on Amazon Prime. This includes league games against Arsenal, Man U and Liverpool. They chose well for us, haven't they? Fucking hell.
Is that? Well, it's going to be great for Arsenal, Man United and Liverpool fans.
I'm a bit concerned with the fixtures, right? Because, we all are. Palace had to be a win on Saturday as far as I'm concerned, because that was one of the games where I had us down to take 3 points, as well as Fulham. And then you look at Fulham tonight and at the weekend, they're good now.
Well, Bournemouth a few weeks ago. 2-0 up, I think. Bournemouth 2-0 up against Palace, or they've beat them 2-0.
Yeah, they've beaten.
Fulham have now found their shooting boots over the last few games, just in time to face us. Actually, we are a bit of a downer tonight. Don't mean to be, though, people. We don't, honestly.
Micky, what would you do? Tell me what you would do. And I'm not saying, don't tell me what you think Moyes would do. Given the available players, how would you set up tomorrow night against Spurs? Now let's start. Let's both do it together. We do Areola in goal, right? Back four. Who's your back four going to be?
Right, my back four would be. I would go Soufal. I would say him, as much as like we give him stick. I don't think Kera.
Give us your back four in the comments. Let's do a collaborative thing. Give us your back four for tomorrow in the comments, please.
Yeah, I don't think Kera's had enough game time for me to get it in front of him for that game. So how about you for right back?
For right back, it's a bit of a wild card, but I'd put there because of pace, and he's got it, is Mavropanos at right back, because he can play right back. He can play right back or right of centre.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a different option.
That's his background, right? He's played it quite a lot, and he's got twice the pace of Soufal, and the guy's a fucking big tree, isn't he? A big wall. He
is a big wall. All right, yeah, go on. How about your centre backs? Are we staying at Zuma and a Gerd then for the centre backs?
Well, I don't think there's much of a choice, to be honest. I don't think if I'm having Mavropanos out there, then I think it's got to be Zuma and a Gerd in the middle. Let's put some of these up, and I think the left back kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? I don't think anybody's gonna quibble about Emerson, are they? So back.
I'm talking for Creswell. I'll put Creswell there.
You reckon? Instead of Emerson? Yeah, me worried about it. Right, so what does he say? Back five for Roger. Zuma flanked by Gued and Mavropanos. Yeah.
All right, so he's gone
Soufal and Emerson.
Back, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing is with that, right, is it would take the focus off of Soufal a bit, and you have got a lot of pace with, if you put Mavropanos either side, Mavropanos or Gued either side of Zuma, you have got pace either side of him there, right? And they can help cover the wing-back positions, and it will double up. That might be a good call, Roger, because he might be tempted, because, let's face it, it is a back five, right? It is a back five. So I think that might come true. More secret project. Right, here we got Emerson, Aguerd, Zuma, Soufal. Fucking, it's David Moyes in the chat. Come on, Stephen.
All right, then. So now the midfield. How would you go with midfield?
Right, midfield is an interesting one for me, right? I think we've got to push our way up the pitch, right? So I ain't playing a back five, because a David Moyes back five is five at the back. It ain't 3 and 2 wing backs, right? No matter how you try to say it is, it isn't. So
no, I agree.
So we're kind of together on the back four. Now in the middle, I would drop Souček. And what I'd do with Souček, and I think I'll nick this off Emma's chat, you can always bring Souček on with 15 minutes to go to try and nick you a header or something, right? Which is
but you say that. I know, like you said about nicking it from amateur, but I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. Bring him on as an impact sub for the last 10 minutes because that's when he sort of comes alive, and that's all you like. He does for me. He's done nothing like as an all-round game, but he does pop up with late goals. So that's why I would say bring him on for the last 10 if that's what you needed. But I think he's been a bit of I'm trying to think he does nothing, so he's injuring the team for me. The way that he's injuring the pace of play. So
well, tell us in the chat who you'd have in your midfield. I'm going for a diamond, right? I'm going for a diamond, a midfield diamond, an attacking one as well, right? So, bearing in mind, I'm not saying play Paquetá out wide left, but what I would do is I'd play Alvarez at the base. I'd play Paquetá on the left of the diamond. I'd play Kudus on the right of the diamond, and I'd play JWP at the top of the diamond. That's what I'd do for midfield. So that is element of defense and grit with Paquetá and Kudus and Alvarez, right? JWP up front doing what he does best, which is to actually create stuff and be an attack-minded midfielder. That is what he's good at, right? Other than that, I don't think JWP gets in the team anywhere for me.
I think that you'd see a different press in that system. I think you'll see him like how he was when he first come to us, where he can he finds space, he can pick a pass out. I think and just be that more of an attacker. He's not a defensive midfielder. I don't care what anyone says. He's not that for me. So yeah, I kind of agree with what you said there. To be honest with you.
So you got to bear in mind, right? We've gone 4-4, and we're all out attack. I'm going to go with what Yardy said here. I'd go with Cornet and Bowen up front because Cornet can play striker. Bowen can kind of play striker against a team like this. Loads of pace, loads of ability. The midfield is actually quite nippy as well because Alvarez ain't slow. Paqueta's no slouch. Kudus is very fast. JWP, less said the better. But the front, when you put all those different bits together, including if you take my Mavropanos bloke and you take Emerson, right, and Aguerd, there ain't many slow players in that team. You'd have Zuma, he's slow. JWP slow. That's it, innit?
Zuma is slow, but I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't have Zuma pushing forward. Like sometimes he does come up to the halfway line. I wouldn't have that. Like I'm sorry, just because if he does lose it, there's no chance he's getting back. So for me, it's not. He's a massive asset. He's in the air. I think he's like a colossal in the air for me. I think that's his bread and butter.
I'm looking forward to see who's chosen Souček. And
someone did. I think.
I ain't gonna point and laugh, right? I'm just saying. I'm interested to see who's around them.
I might have it wrong, and if I'm wrong, I am sorry. But I think Mandy said, Mandy said Souček. Yeah,
Alvarez, Souček, Paquetá, and Kudus. Well, look, you've got to drop JWP or Souček, right? Because the two of them make for a weak midfield. But personally, I wouldn't play. I don't know where you're thinking of playing Souček there. Who's going on the left? Is it a diamond, Mandy? I don't know, but
look, it's. I can understand it. I can understand why people say so. Score goals. He's in such good goal scoring form. Don't get me wrong, he is. But that's it. His all round game ain't been nothing.
Well, the thing is, right? You're saying he's a match winner. He really shouldn't have been the match winner because we should have won those matches before we did against all of those teams. Forest were the best of a very bad bunch, and they're getting thumped by everybody. Right? So
I sort of agree with what Micky just said there with his.
We must get you access to these comments. You'd be notorious, wouldn't you?
It's
right. Now we talk about what Moyes is going to do in a minute, but never going to happen, is it? Nah, Stan. No, you're right. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. But that is kind of my wet dream for Spurs because I think that would be fast, counter-attacking. More importantly, right, Spurs would be worried that we would break on them.
Do you know what though? Yeah, right. So he's right in saying Moyes won't do that. Moyes is never going to drop Souček right
No,
now.
he ain't. No.
He's never
Let's talk
gonna,
about.
I mean, he wasn't dropping him when he was awful and doing nothing. So he's not going to drop him now. He's in goal scoring form. I think if he was to drop anyone from the midfield, unfortunately, it would be Alvarez because he's the one who's been taken off, like as his sub. So I think that if he's going to drop anyone, it will be Alvarez.
I agree completely. Now, this Rex Moto Mundi, you're really playing for 5-all. Fucking hell, I'd love a 5-all. Wouldn't you, Micky?
No, he's saying, so you're really playing...
Oh, 5-5 formation.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
No, I'm not. I'm playing 4 at the back, 4 in the midfield, 2 up front, 4-4-2 of sorts because it's got a diamond in the middle. It is a bit vulnerable. I'll give you that. It is a bit vulnerable from a defensive position, but I've tried to bolster it out with a few. You know that Kudus will leave his foot in. So will Paquetá. Alvarez definitely. I just want Alvarez to do his job. Don't go up the pitch. He's effectively another centre half that sits in front of the back four and doesn't move.
The only thing I would say. The only thing I would say is you're playing Bowen then as a striker, aren't you?
Well, with Cornet.
I know with Cornet, but for me, I genuinely think under Moyes that the striker role is pointless under Moyes. So, and we will lose what Bowen's so good at, and that he's being on the right. So I'm a bit, I don't know. I think I'm changing my mind the more I'm thinking about it, you know.
It's different though, you know. It's different because in the formation we usually play, the 4-2-3-1, 4-1-4-1, whatever you want to call it, the striker is pointless.
Yeah.
But if you play with a team that's going to push up and play a high line like we did against Tottenham with all the right pieces in the right place, then those strikers are not going to have no service, right? They're going to get service, right? So that's my theory. That's my theory is just like, you know, why not? Why not just go for it? We'll probably get stuffed anyway. I'd rather go for it and get stuffed. And I'll tell you what, and I was starting to say this once before. I was starting to say that, you know, if he does a certain thing, then I'll forgive him, right? I will say it now. If he goes for that game tomorrow and plays an attacking formation and we get fucking battered, I'm not going to say anything about it, right? Because to me, going for it is the answer. If he sits back, I'm going to have the right ump if we get slaughtered.
Or do you know what game, right? And someone put it in a comment before we come on live about the Luton game. And they went for it. Do you know what I mean? Against Arsenal, they went for it. They just lost it on like I'd say the last minute, but it was over that. They've played extra 2 minutes of injury time. But if we was to lose playing, like giving it a go, as you just said, if we was to give it a quite good go and we lost, you can accept it. But I think you can accept it any time. You can take it on the chin, as long as you give it a go. But if we was to just do what we've been doing the last few games, and I can't accept that no more. I couldn't accept it then. I can't accept it now.
No, my patience has run out. I mean, look, Moyes can change it whenever he likes, right? And whenever he changed it, I'll stop having a go at him, right? But if he's just going to do the same again over and over again, and it keep coming unstuck, even if we nick fucking scrappy 1-0 wins against crap teams, I'm still going to have a go at him, right? The only time I wouldn't have a go at him when he plays that formation is against one of the elite teams, like the Liverpools, the Man City, right? However, Moyes was trying to put Spurs into their bracket today, and they're not in their bracket, I'm afraid. Not yet. They will be if they keep going, but they're not at the moment, right? So first team spirit is non-existent compared to both under 18 and under 20. Yes, it is. It is. And that's probably because they're having a lovely time. Did you see those lads, those under 21s, went and absolutely stuffed another fully grown, airy-ass men's team in Colchester United 4-0.
4-0, people.
After beating, what was it, 3 others? They beat Bristol Rovers, I think. They beat Newport County and they beat Cheltenham, I think.
I'm thinking of becoming more of a fan of the under-21s than I am the senior team at this rate. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they don't score less than 4 every game, do they? They are all out attack. What a team.
I've not watched a full game of the under-21s yet, I've got to admit, but I'd like to because they just seem so entertaining.
Well, I'll tell you what they got over last year, because last year I think they were brilliant. Last year, obviously they were. They won the league. They won the cup. They did double, right? But when you watched it last year, it did feel like kids' football, right, or youngsters' football. You know what I mean? Whereas now, a season later, a lot of them are bigger and stronger than they were, right? And they're going up against, the big lumps you get in these lower league teams, and they're running rings around them, honestly.
Yeah, the
right?
ones that have been there, done it, and want to kick lumps out of you. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Oh, you think you're all that? But they're having it. They're having it with them, and they're beating them. Lovely. Do you know what I mean?
And they're 17, 18 years old. They're not even fully grown, fully developed players yet. These kids are special, and it's just criminal what he's doing to them, right? He ain't even giving them a look in. So yeah, I think let's talk about how Moyes will line up tomorrow. Let's see. I think let's try and agree on what we think will happen, on what we think the formation is going to be. Do the same in the chat, right? What we think the formation is going to be. Let's agree on it, right? And then we'll see how far out we are tomorrow, because I think we'll get it bang on.
Right, now I know that this being a chat format, that I should be more chatty than this, but I just can't. I think he's going to go the same as what he's been doing. I think he's just going to be cut and paste. I can't see him changing nothing. I can't.
So back four is going to be Emerson, Aguerd, Zuma, Soufal, Areola in goal, right?
Yep.
Midfield will be
Alvarez.
No,
but no, you saying about...
I think he's going to... He alluded to the fact that he's going to change it. That doesn't really mean he's going to change it. What it means is he's going to change a midfielder out for another midfielder and play the same way, right? So you think he's going to go to exactly the same, yeah? Carbon copy.
Yeah, I do think he's going to... The only thing... Bowen did play, didn't he? Yeah. And the only thing that change is going to be is Zuma, because he's back now, So that's going to be the only change for me. But I think he's still going to be the same.
God, the Villa have just gone one up and it's gone to VAR. 76 minutes over Man City. God, they'll be dancing in the streets of Highbury tonight, or Islington tonight, won't they? Fucking hell. Look, I just think based on what he said, on that comment, that he might make a change. I think all he'll do. He'll look at Souček, Alvarez, and JWP. He will not drop the last. It will drop Alvarez.
I think like I said to you, if he drops anyone, it will be Alvarez. But we know what his interviews and that are like his pre-match interviews, and it's all smoke and mirrors with him. So it does. I've heard some like his interviews before, and I'm thinking he's going to go for it this time. We're going to have it. Like even this, when he was talking about we need to take more risks, I'm thinking, he's going to go for it.
Yeah.
But then I realise I don't think he will.
No, I know. Yeah, look, I don't think if I put money on it, I'd agree with you, right? He ain't going to change it. I'm just reading into what he said the other day, comment, and if he does that, I think he'll drop Alvarez and he'll put Benrahma in or something like that, and they'll play the same way. And Benrahma he'll answer his critics who say play Paquetá in the middle. That's the way he'll fudge it, to play Paquetá in the middle, right? By wasting another person out on the left.
Do you know why I don't think he'll play Benrahma though, Gal? Is because of how quick and fast they are on the counter. I think he's going to be more. I can't see him this. I can't see this being the game where he's going to be a bit experimental with it. I can't see that. I think he's at the end of the day, he's safety first, and I think that's how he's going to play tomorrow. I'd love to be wrong. I really would. I'd love to go Rick, but for me, I still think it's going to be the same.
So it's going to be 4-1. 4-1. So it's going to be Kudus on the right, Bowen up front, and it's going to be Paquetá wide left. It's going to be JWP in a sort of arrangement with Souček in the middle. Who knows whether one will be ahead of the other or whatever. But I think that's the most likely lineup, and getting 11 men behind the ball is likely the way it goes, right? I'll
tell you one thing I do want to see though. If he does start Alvarez.
Yeah,
I do actually want to. I don't care about a yellow card. I want to see him proper go in for it, because that's what we was missing against Palace. It seemed like whether he was tired or he'd been told to not be as aggressive as much because of the yellow cards, but that is his game.
Yeah,
that's Alvarez's game. and he needs to sort of just be up people and upend them. Do you know what I mean? Especially in a game like that, we want that.
Well, yeah, because that's what happened with Chelsea, wasn't it? Chelsea went there and really they really upset them, didn't they? They smashed into them, and Spurs smashed into them. And Nick was right in a comment he said earlier, if you upset that Romero, he will likely get himself sent off, right? Because he's
not it, yeah.
And I think one person that could wind him up nicely would be Paquetá, right? Paquetá's the biggest wind up out there.
I think he's one of the only ones that could do that right now. I think Zuma's, as big as Zuma is, he's not that sort of player. You know, he's not a shit asser. So he's happy. I think that really him and Paquetá. I think Paquetá could wind Romano. Like, what was his name?
Romero.
Yeah, Romero. I think that he could wind. Paquetá could definitely wind him up, and that could be a bit feisty. That one. In fact, I look forward to that if it goes.
Yeah, no, it could be interesting. So that's one way it could go, because they're definitely a little bit feisty, Spurs. They don't like it up them, right? And yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that. I just hope that if that does happen, it's a bit of a tough game. That referee is not one of those who's fucking giving out yellow cards every 2 seconds, right? Just don't want it. He won't play Benny. Nah, look, in hindsight, I was taking a few clues with that and thinking people were questioning him about would it be better to play Paquetá in the middle. And then he started saying, I'd like to see us attack more and everything else. And then there was a rumor on one of the channels that said he's going to change the midfield around. And that is literally, if he does, the only way I can see him changing the midfield around. He is not dropping Ward-Prowse or Souček over his dead body. Will he drop either of those two? Right? They're his players. Fornals could start. Yeah, some chances in the same camp as Soufal. I mean, he takes a piss out of Fornals by putting him on 88 minutes, right? Got to get changed, got to get into your kit. Mind you, it's better than what he'd done at Burnley, apparently, which was tell him not to bother getting changed into his shirt because you ain't coming on, son. Right? Oh, did I say that out loud? Fuck me. Bad Gary. Right. Anyway.
I'm just reading that thing. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
But that's that is it's another reason why I don't like him. Someone said earlier, if you listen to sorry, I can't go back through the comments, but there's a podcast with Mark Wald, and he talks about Lyle, and he said when John Lyle first came around his house, he just spent his whole time talking to his missus, and I don't know what Moyes is like with relationships with the players' wives and everything else, and the kids and all that, but if you look at any good manager, any manager that's achieved really big things over the years, think about Cloughie. It was a massive pisshead, but some of the stories of him going around players' houses trying to get them signed, fucking incredible, right?
Yeah, but I think
that Moyes, all night. Yeah,
I think Moyes has got it because we all know that Paquetá's sent him a card for Father's Day, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said that Moyes is like a father figure to him, so we all know.
Yeah, Daddy. He calls him Daddy.
Daddy's his Papa.
So would it be mad? It would be madness to bring Zuma back for this one. Yeah, I agree, but he will, right? Because if the plan is to sit deep, Nick, that's Zuma's pivotal to that. The only reason he got dropped the other day, it wasn't because of Mavropanos deserved a chance. It was because Zuma's house got burgled. It was a cat burglar, apparently, wasn't it?
Oh,
I know. Paquetá is a menace, and that's why a lot of clubs want him to sign. Yes, he is. And we saw a little taster second half of last season and the beginning of this season. I think we saw the real quality of Paquetá start to emerge, and that's when Man City became interested, because you can see he's a proper player. Kudus might end up being better than him, but at the moment, Paqueta's our best player. He's borderline world class when he's played in the right place. Yeah.
I know, like people say about like he's going to be Paqueta's replacement, and it probably was it. But I remember an article before, and it said that even if Paquetá didn't go, we were still going to buy Kudus anyway, and we did. We still ended up getting him, but they are. I see Paquetá as more of a rounded player at the moment.
Yeah,
and he's better back than Kudus more forward thinking. Yeah, I just think that what are two players to have in your team? Oh,
well, yeah, I know. And that's why I agreed with those two Spurs lemons so much, right? Because they picked all their good players out. They just reeled them off. Said Kudus, Paquetá, Bowen, and you guys are still setting up in a defensive formation and not letting them play.
Yeah.
Exactly that, right? Exactly that. They were bang on the money. And people who deny that are living in fucking cloud cuckoo land, right? Gary, Micky, if we take a stuffing some more of a poor performance, do you think the careful what you wish for brigade will finally wind the necks in? No.
No.
It doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. They'll say, "Oh, it was Spurs, wasn't it? What do you expect?" Yeah, that'll be the response. That'll be the response. As disappointing as it is, Mikey's getting a bit anxious and worked up now. Just thinking about it, the predictable team and tactics we're going to witness again. Yeah.
Did anyone see? I mean, it's another shout out to another channel, but Emma's chat, Frank McAvenny. Interview.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
What did he say? Right. Go on, describe it.
He was saying it's boring football. Under Moyes, it's boring football, and it's not West Ham.
Yeah,
it's not, and which is what we've been saying. It's not West Ham, and then that's when people come back. It's a results-based business. It's not. It's entertainment and football. You're a football fan, and Frank McAvenny, my first ever favourite player.
Yeah,
for West Ham, loved him then, and I love him even more now. That he just sort of said it. He literally said everything that we've been saying, basically, and it was great to hear. But obviously, because he's Frank McAvenny and an ex-player, obviously people are going to take more notice of that. But it's good to know that the opinions that we have, even professionals, have got the same opinions.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, you know, like this thing about John Lyle. I grew up with John Lyle, and he did get me hooked on West Ham. I love John Lyle. I love the football he played. Even when we got relegated, what we did in the second division was out of this world with Trevor Brooklyn and everybody else. And then getting promoted, winning the FA Cup, winning the league, getting to the League Cup final. It weren't just all the glory days. It was just the style of football and the fact that we had to go at everybody. And as Tony Gale said when he was talking about a John Lyle style team talk, again, this aligns with Fergie. It aligns with Brian Clough. It aligns with all the great managers. You know, said, what did he say to you before you went out onto the pitch? And he said, well, didn't talk about the opposition much, to be honest. We just spoke about how we can hurt them. And that's where it should be, isn't it?
Well, that gets you fired up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It gets you fired up. If you're that sort of team, it gets you fired up. You just...
Yeah, and then you got Billy Bonds and everybody else, fucking, you know, who was a quiet man off the pitch, but an animal on it, you know, and also a very, very talented player as well. Could do everything, Billy Bonds. But then, you know, we've always had those sort of players. We've always had the cult heroes. We've always had the great players. Not many of them, but we've always had a few. We've always had our share of great players, you know. It's usually the best player in the team by a country mile, right? Now we've got a few more than we'd usually have. And that's what makes it so insulting that he plays that type of football with this type of player. It's really, really bad. And I just hope that whether it's Arne Slot or Lopetegui or Lopetegui or whatever it is, right?
I did say you had to pronounce it in the chat earlier on, but I can't think now. It was broken down.
Right. Okay. I missed it. Sorry.
It was right early, really early. So.
Yeah. We won a trophy. We did. First one in 43 years, Nick. Don't you forget it. Talking about Paquetá, I was going mad at Palace game with the amount of fans saying, yeah, I know. They don't get it, right? They don't get it. Listen, he disappoints me when he goes down, right? I ain't going to slag him off. He's a privilege to have in our team, right? Nobody should be getting on his back. Nobody at all. He's doing what like South Americans do, right? And he shouldn't be doing it. And I hate it, but I love him, right? I'll let him get away with it.
But that is in the game now, and has been for a few years, and we haven't had players to do that. I mean, apart from Mikel Antonio, who, I mean, he blatantly dives. Do you know what I mean? He's crazy, his dives. But other than that, we don't have other players trying to win a foul. And he does, like it or not, he does. And it does annoy me sometimes, because sometimes there's absolutely no need for him to do it.
Yeah.
But every now and then he's good to shit ass. Every now and then he's good to shit ass. And it winds the other opposition up. So I'll give and take that.
Interesting post from Ollie PRJ here. For fuck's sake, Arsenal are going to win the league title, aren't they? No, they're not. And I'll tell you why, right? This is the time of season when Pep is kicking back, taking it easy. he might look a little bit irritable on the sidelines and everything else, but every single season, it seems, they start off at a bit of a canter. They get warmed up as Christmas goes by. You guarantee, right? You watch the Christmas fixtures. I bet they win most of them, right? And there'll probably be some big games in there as well. After Christmas in January, you watch how those fuckers go, because that's what happened last year. Arsenal were quite a few points ahead last year. I think 6 or 8 points ahead, feeling comfortable, boasting that they've won the league already. We're all laughing, ha, 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 right? Man City put the pedal down after Christmas. They won God knows how many games on the spin, because that is what they're capable of. They're great, right? They can do that. They will do that, in my opinion. Arsenal will feel the heat as that gap starts closing. Their asses will go again, and they won't win the league. That's my prediction, right? I don't see why it should be any different to last year. I know Deck's there, but one player don't change the whole fucking attitude of the team, does it?
I know a lot of people don't like them, but I'd prefer seeing Liverpool win it, just because I prefer watching their style of play, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do as well. I can't stand it. Growing up with Liverpool, I've got this thing about Liverpool because I grew up in like the 70s and the 80s when Liverpool dominated and they won every week, and fucking kids at school in the East End would support Liverpool.
Yeah, see, I've got that same feeling for Man United, so I get where you're coming from. I just put it the other way around when Alex Ferguson kept on winning everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got that with them.
But I don't mind them, though, because a lot of people I know now, especially a couple of people I know now who've sort of grown up and you're a little bit older, they're still supporting Liverpool, right? So they were the kids in the playground with the Liverpool shirts on and stuff like that. But they're largely all right now. I don't find them too gloaty. Same with Spurs, actually. I've got a few Spurs mates and they're fine, right? It's the new brand of supporters. You know, the ones that we've been talking about recently. It's a new breed of supporters. And that's what I was going to say about John Lyall, right? I grew up with John Lyall. When he got sacked in 1989, I think it was, I was heartbroken, right? Because he'd been there my whole West Ham football supporting life, all the way back to 1976. He was the only manager I knew, right? And I know we struggled. And I know we got relegated a couple of times during that period. I didn't waver in my support for John Lyall, right? And there was one night, League Cup game where it went to extra time. I think it was against Barnsley at Upton Park, and I was sitting I had a seat for once in the upper tier of the West Stand. And you know, when I used to do when a game went to extra time, they used to basically come on the pitch, sit the players down, and talk about what they wanted to do for the extra time, right? And he came on in his big long coat because he was always very smartly dressed. Fucking got booed onto the pitch, John Lyall. Booed onto the pitch. I was ashamed to be a West Ham fan that night. I must admit, ashamed. Yeah. And that's because I just loved everything he did. And getting relegated and doing stuff like that didn't really ruin it in my eyes. You know, for me, I loved the man. He took us to heights we've never been to before or since, right? And I'm talking about, all right, Ron Greenwood was the first one to win an FA Cup. Major accomplishment. Football was ahead of his time. He really invented modern West Ham, Ron Greenwood, right? And then won a European trophy playing exceptional football in 65. So Ron Greenwood, so I suppose you've got to look at them differently because he was the one that started it all and Lyall was kind of his apprentice. But Lyall won 2 FA Cups, got to a quarter-final. You know, we were a second division team in 1981. We were in the League Cup final. We were the reigning FA Cup holders. We were the quarterfinals of the Cup Winners' Cup. And we were pissing the second division. And Trevor Brooking was playing for England with that lovely old kit alongside Kevin Keegan. Yeah. Right? It was a fucking good time to be alive as a West Ham supporter. I tell you, it really was. You know? And when people say, oh, put Moyes alongside Ron Greenwood and John Lyall, I just find that insulting, I'm afraid. He's had 1.5 to 2 good seasons.
Yeah, and he's won a cup. Listen, I'll always remember that, always be grateful for it, but it wasn't. We sort of, we only played one decent team in that. Let's get it right, really. And even then, that game could have gone either way. It was only because of a great pass and great finish that got us that in the last minute. So, I mean, he will get. I will respect Moyes, but I'll probably, like Nick said, I'll probably look more favourable on Moyes when he's out of West Ham. It's just hard to look past the boring, sluggish football that we're seeing right now. So,
it really is. You know, the other day though, I started to think, you know, based on that, I grew up with Lyle. I hated it when he went, right? I started to, for a minute, give the benefit of the doubt to some of these youngsters who've only known Moyes. And I was thinking, you ain't only known Moyes. He's only been here fucking 4 years, right? And how could you fall in love with that bloke? I know he gave us a trophy, but if you've only supported the club for 4 years anyway, what difference does it make? You know,
well,
if you've been around 8 years, you would have seen the fucking Bilic season, which, as I said the other night, is stats-wise our best season ever.
Yeah, and if you would have been even longer, you would have seen the Harry Redknapp seasons that wasn't the greatest of results, but what an entertaining lot of seasons.
Well, yeah, that was a time. By that time, I'd stopped going to away games regularly, so I only watched home games anyway, so I didn't really care. And every home game for Harry was fucking entertainment, wasn't it? And I mean, there were times. You remember that when Rio came back for Leeds, I think it was, and we lost 5-3, and Ian Wright got sent off. Another player got sent off, I think, and Ian Wright smashed up the referee's dressing room. There were some dark times at West Ham, Upton Park under Redknapp as well. But mainly, that was towards the end. 99, 98, 99, 99, 2000 were great seasons, you know. Micky
I think it was more. Yeah, I know. What is your name? I think as well, though, I think back then, and it's only just sort of not being like that lately, it was more of a community feel where everyone was together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone had the same sort of opinion and everyone was just, it was a family. And it's just sort of seemed to losing its way over the last few years, really. Shame.
Yeah. During the war. It's taking the piss out of me.
Right, we've done an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think let's call it a night. Let's see if there's any more comments. Hang on a minute. Is there another super chat? Oh, new member. Ryan. Welcome.
Ryan. Go on,
welcome.
Mate. Get your gold badge on.
Membership club, Ryan. There he goes. He's wearing it already. Look, join the army. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Right, so let's have a look, see what we got here, see if there's anything else to pick out, and then we'll call it a night. Hang on. But look, let's do predictions then. Give us your predictions in the chat. How do you think, honestly, tomorrow's going to go? Right, and don't give me your West Ham tinted one. Tell me how you think it's going to go.
Yeah, do the honest ones.
Go on, Micky.
Go on, if you got one there, because I really want. All right, then. I think it's either going to be a 1-1 or it's going to be a bloodbath. I do. I just think that it's either going to be a big scoreline for Spurs or it's going to be a hang on for us. So I'm kind of making bets here, I guess, but I definitely don't see us winning.
Well, look, what I hope happens, but I'm going to be honest for once, right? I'm going to be honest for once and I'm going to predict how I think it's going to go. Because I usually go West Ham win 2-1, 3-1, whatever, right? I fear for us. I think I'm going to go 3-0 to Spurs. I don't see us scoring against them.
No.
Right? So, but I hope I'm wrong. Please let me be wrong. Let us be a fucking freak, you know, one of those freak results where we go there, Spurs are bang on form, playing beautiful football, we're playing shit. We turn up and turn them over and laugh at them as well. Then I can watch Expressions later tomorrow night, have a meltdown, and I'll go to bed a happy boy, you know?
I'm just looking at some of the scores. There's a lot of 3-1s.
Yeah,
Spurs line. There's a few 4-0s. Yeah. To be fair to you. But yeah, I think the most one they're going for is a 3-1 Spurs.
Yeah.
It looks right.
Yeah, people think, and look, we might score. We've got decent players, right? We've got decent players. We've got to let those decent players have the ball there and have some service and have some fucking chance, right? Because if you give Bowen and Kudus and Paquetá and people like that a little chance to get on the ball and make something happen, we can definitely score against Spurs. Definitely. Right?
Yeah, I think that we can. No, I don't know. I really don't. I really want to be positive. I do, because I hate being. Look, listen, I'm a realist. I think we're going to lose. I will say that. I'm not one of these, as you say, I'm not a West Ham tinted glasses, but I am trying to, because it is Spurs. I really want to see a positive in it. It's just, I'm just going on from what it's been like for the last couple of weeks for us and the last few weeks in the season for them. He's polar opposites for me. Playing styles, I can't get up for it. I don't know why.
Come on, Micky. Come on, Micky. Pull yourself together. Before that game tomorrow night, I want you motivated. Get outside, do some lunges in the cold. Get your fucking blood flowing. Get yourself
with me
motivated.
dressing down on. Go on, boy.
Exactly. Out you go.
All right, we can have it. 5-0 to the Hammers. Go on, boy.
All right, so look, we're done. We're done. Thanks for your company. Let's turn that comment off because that'll go all the way through the outro, which is our very special outro, right? I'm going to do the Christmas one. Because it's nearly Christmas, right? It's nearly Christmas.
Thanks, people.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Come on, your irons for tomorrow night. Please, West Ham, don't let us down. Give us a surprise.
Back on tomorrow night, don't we?
Play for a miracle. Yeah, we are. Back on tomorrow night. Win, lose, or draw. If we win, party time. Come on, your irons. See you later.
No Carper so foul for time wasting. He plays it down the right channel, gives it straight to the goalkeeper Terracciano. He's going to toss it back into the opposition half. The referee still hasn't blown the whistle. 97 minutes played. Forward and away by Naif again. Over the halfway line it goes. Fiorentina can't get the ball into West Ham's half at the moment. Terracciano will kick it long. It's away by Thomas Soucek, who's gone back to help out the defence. Ogbona's in there as well. There's almost 4 centre-halves on the pitch now for David Moyes. The ball's played out left. Fornals plays it against the defender. A free kick is given over on the far side, and West Ham have one more set piece to defend. Christian Baraghi over on that far side leaves it for Bonaventura, who got the equalising goal. 97 minutes, 40 seconds have been played. Surely this is the last action of the game. There was only 5 allotted. West Ham scored in the final minute of the game. This is the free kick. This is the moment of supreme concentration. Terracciano, the goalkeeper, comes up into the penalty area. Alphonse Areola completely comes out and misses it, but it goes behind and away for a goal kick anyway. And then there's a bit of pushing going on involving Nico Gonzalez, and that's it! The referee blows the full-time whistle. No one is bursting this West Ham bubble. Its legacy is ironclad. West Ham win the Europa Conference League. The players drive onto the pitch in a blur of jubilation, knees sliding towards their support at the far end of the ground. An historic night for West Ham United is complete. For the club of Bobby Moore, Alvin Martin and Trevor Brooking, the crowning glory for Declan Rice, Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio. 15 games, 14 wins, 1 draw. They have completed the conference unbeaten. European finals don't come around too often. If you're West Ham United, it may not come around again for a while. So listen, feel it. This means something.
Mum, I'm Moyes in.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, huh?